Bitcoin riding some massive girthy green dildos for the first time above $80,000 in its history. And in today's video, we'll be going over, well, what to essentially expect in November as things do continue onwards, and how it is likely to happen probably sooner than you think. I do suspect that November is going to continue to be a pretty big month, if you will. We'll also be going over some pullback areas of interest if you are on the more short-term time frame minded, I guess. Well, if you're just more short-term time frame minded. But other than that, I want to once again let you know that the Q&A session is on for next week. We'll continue to make this weekly thing. The last turnout was great for November 4th. That video's been posted, of course, as well. And I have the new thread open over here. If you want to contribute, if you want to ask questions, whatever you want, although I can't really, I can't promise that I can answer every damn question, but but if you want to, if you want to contribute, all you need to do is join the Discord in the link in the description below. It's 100% free to join. And then you just find this threads over here, which is a good test to see if you're lobotomized or not, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that. It's the one that says weekly Q&A under K video content. Crazy, absolutely fucking crazy. But let's just jump into it right now, starting off with Bitcoin on the higher term time frames. Actually go to the 5-day right here. This was a big focus of this analysis, really for the last few weeks. And first and foremost, on the 5-day time frame, we do see that Bitcoin has opened up above the 50% of historic returns range highs. And so I do suspect that we will see a test at minimum to the 61.8 level within the next period or two. This period is ending on Wednesday, and then the period after that obviously takes us into early next week, being that CME does not trade over the weekend. But I do suspect that Bitcoin probably will test it during this period, and that is 84,250. Now, here's the thing, as things do start to kind of extrapolate onto higher term timeframes, but going off of the weekly right here, especially for spot price action, we can see again that 38.2 level actually directly in alignment with what we just saw on the 5-day. So I suspect that happens probably this week, 84,400-ish region, and then that does set up Bitcoin perhaps for a bit of a short-term pullback. Definitely possible here, but I do believe that short-term pullbacks are going to be short-lived, and we'll go over pullback areas of interest a little bit later. But after that, if and when Bitcoin does reclaim this region, 84,400-ish region on a higher term time frame closing basis, I would expect to see essentially $90,000 very, very soon after that. Of course, this is also corroborated with the monthly story as well. This one showing the median, which is a natural sort of area of interest for price action after reclaiming the 38.2 level right here, especially as volatility does expand from these regions. And I do suspect that Bitcoin might not hit it in November, but maybe December. But I guess it wouldn't be too crazy, I suppose, even though it does sound pretty crazy to me. But that is officially at $96,500. So I'd be willing to say Bitcoin very likely does hit mid 90s or maybe even 100 before end of year, and maybe even this month. With a short-term pullback in between there, probably in the mid-80s. Like I said, 84,400 seems to be popping up a lot there. Of course, this is also going to be following with this 5-day setup over here. This is the sort of trending setup that we've been looking at on this channel. It's a very, very simple one on the 5-day time frame, price reclaiming that 5 exponential moving average alongside an uptrend also on some other timeframes as well, confirmed, does initiate an entry, and then closing below initiates the exit using our quant prime tool right here. We can backtest the results of that through Bitcoin's history, and the results have been quite good, capturing these massive moves to the upside. When things are not having massive moves to the upside, obviously the strategy is just gonna, it's gonna have small gains, small losses, as you can see over here. But again, it's designed to catch on to those long-term trends. If you've been on this channel for a while now, you've probably heard me repeat these lines a million fucking times, but it's important because there's still some there's some really fucking rude people out there whenever I talk about this. I don't know why it just pisses them off so much, but it is what it is. So for example, the last couple times that we saw this one work in the way that it's really designed for catching these big moves was actually back here in January before this 53% move from open to closure. Obviously things did trade higher than that, and then before that in about a year ago in October of 2023, again another 50% move right there from open to closure. So looking at it right here, this move has already seen about 30% from open to current price, or almost 30%, I should say. And so what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go into the performance summary and recognize that this particular strategy takes about 10 bars on average for the winning trades. If you can see that down here. Let me just remove my face for a moment. Yeah, average amount of bars in winning trades, 10. So, if we do take that at face value, again, understand that it is an average. Well, 10 bars would be, on a 5-day time frame, would be what? Would be 50 days, right? And so we are on period number 40 here, which will end in 5 days. So we're actually really on day number 35, 36 as of right now. So theoretically, we should allow for a little bit more time to transpire for this as well. In fact, that even works quite well with, hold on, let me just bring it up over here, with our monthly statistics for November. Let me just bring them into view. Where's my November? There we go. With November typically seeing the lows early on within the month, especially in election years, by the way. So that worked out yet again. Crown, how could you be looking at this? You fucking morons. Jesus Christ, man. Just pay attention. Anyways, during macro uptrends, Bitcoin November highs typically come in around that third week of November. We have seen it actually come in quite early a couple times, but well, 19th. Anyways, that would still be ahead of us by more than a week. So I do expect that Bitcoin does continue on here within this next week. Again, this does align with the dates that we kind of expect from this setup over here. Again, day number 50 puts us onto the 21st of November. So, that again does line up quite well. Although it already has hit its average return for those winning trades. So I guess everything on top of this is going to be icing on the cake. Anyways, moving on from there, again, we did go over the bi-weekly HPDR. This was a big portion of last week's analysis, just going off of this. The twist from negative to positive reads on the HPDRO has correlated incredibly well on the 2-week time frame with tremendous moves to the upside. Even in times of failure, like see back on over here in December 2019, that was still a 50% move. So Bitcoin having the double derp over here, typically the second one is going to be the good one. Last time we saw something like this was actually back before this one over here, leading into the Rona pump, the Rona pump after the dump. So I do expect that, this probably has a lot more to go. Overall. So where do we go from there? Yes, I think from there we can go over some, a pullback area of interest if and when Bitcoin does have it. Again, understanding that I do think Bitcoin continues on early in this week, and then we see a pullback maybe end of this week or beginning next week. Again, around that 21st or 19th of November is kind of where I'm looking for, but anywhere around there, around the third week of November, I probably do look for a bit of a pullback. Naturally, the red 5 exponential moving average is going to be a nice targeted region for that. Again, Bitcoin likes to reconnect with this moving average on just about all trending moves, and whenever Bitcoin does not reconnect with it, price typically stays more or less sideways, waiting for the reconnect before any sort of continuation. On spot price action, that is currently down around about $75,000. There is a CME gap lower at 77 or so. So, at some point, Bitcoin probably does retest that region. But for right now, I would actually still probably be looking to the upside. Again, I can be very, very much wrong on that. Bitcoin might pull back earlier and then continue later on within this week. A short-term correction can take many different forms. I wouldn't be too focused on that. I'd be focused on areas of interest. And then if they get there, then, well, have your plan ready, I suppose, to execute if you want to be having one at all. So yeah, and of course this one, if Bitcoin does kind of hang around here in the mid to low 80s, we will see that 5 exponential naturally pulled up pretty much to about $77,000 by the next period. So that'll be by Friday. So yeah. Anyways. Let's go over some very low-term time frame stuff as well. 4-hour time frame, as people seem to love that. And right on over here on CME, it is interesting to me to see that we actually don't even have bearish divergence just yet. Now, I'm sure people are highlighting this high from this high, which, as of right now, we actually don't have a high in. So this wouldn't even be playable in the way that I look at things unless if Bitcoin confirmed a local high right here. So how would you confirm a local high? Bitcoin would have to pop back down, close below about $80,000, and then I'd say you have a local high plus divergence, and you probably see a move down 77 to 78 ish. maybe it's a wick lower, but probably settles somewhere around there. But like I said, I am actually more inclined towards continuation here to the upside first before a pullback, rather than pullback first and then continuation later. But that's just a personal opinion, not backed up by much. And oh, my camera died. Nice. Let me just turn that off. Fuck you. You can't see me anymore, sir. Can't make fun of my appearance anymore, you mean bastard bully. But yeah, for right now, I'm still, yeah, it is what it is. But let's go over here to the 4-hour time frame for spot price action. Maybe there's a more obvious signal perhaps going on here. Yeah, this one, again, it is going to set up for a correction relatively soon. The question to me is, does it continue to 84 first and then pull back, or is it correct here? I'm actually really inclined to say it probably continues close to that $84,000 area of interest before the pullback. But again, I could be very much wrong on that. My strong opinions are what we kind of began this video on. So yeah, overall, I do think that Bitcoin, again, more or less on track for a lot of these, a lot of these targets that we've been speaking about for a while now. I do think that probably this week, maybe next week, we see 84.5 to 85 region, probably a pullback from there, and sets it up for maybe a rally later this month towards mid to low 90s. And I think all this is happening at least a little bit faster than what I expected. I'm sure other people out there who are, just bullish no matter what, definitely expected this, as always. But hey, at the end of the day, have those numbers in the back of your mind's eye, because when they do pop up, that's where I would be expecting a little bit of a reaction. Also, last thing here, I actually forgot to talk about this, the daily price statistics. I wanted to speak first about the CT sequential here. Funnily enough, I made like a flippant post on Twitter saying this is the future, showing the future as this indicator essentially calculates the probability. Let me actually just put it up right here. The probability of sequential runs, like consecutive closures of the same type. So in this case, green. And right now we're on potentially day number 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're on day number 7. So you don't really see this happen too often, obviously. And in the projected gains over here, I mean, it's actually been following that quite well. But it should be known that 10 days, I believe, is the maximum amount of consecutive green dildos that we've seen in a row for Bitcoin's history. So, we're getting pretty damn close to that, and already you're kind of in low probability regions. So that's why I do say maybe there's some short-term continuation here first, but do get ready for a pullback. I would think maybe starting around the end of this week, and targets down into the upper 70s is kind of what I'd be thinking. But yeah. We can also go over daily price statistics as well. I mean, we already know Monday statistics. Monday favored in positive closures versus negative closures, which with a pretty high average return for those positive closing Mondays at 340%. That gives us a range high here, if going off of those, of 83,000, and a range low at about just below 79,000 bucks. So if Bitcoin does pull back today, I'd be keeping an eye on someone around like just below 79,000 bucks. For a little bit of a short-term bounce, and then come back to it tomorrow. So I think that's going to do it for today's video. As always, I want to wish you the best. I want to remind people, if you do want to contribute to the Q&A over here, I'm already realizing that this week has not even fucking begun, and already it's like full of probably enough questions that I can really even handle. So what I'll end up doing is I'll very likely end up having, or I'll prioritize the members on the YouTube channel through the YouTube subscription, very specifically for that, so I can actually use that, give a purpose to it besides what it's currently being used for. And I haven't set it up yet. I haven't executed on that just yet, but I would say by Wednesday I will, and I'll confirm that is going to be the way that we go forward. But right now, that's an idea that I'm heavily considering, just because I've been getting a lot of questions about this. Obviously people can't comment like immediately. So yeah. Anyways. With that said, I'd like to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and happy Green Dildo Monday.